Welcome all of you to my channel. Today we are going to talk about a comedy drama movie, If I Were a Boy, released in the year 2017, whose story you will like very much. The story begins with a woman named Jane who was about 39 years old, and she was currently facing her own marital crisis. In fact, her husband chose another woman and brutally abandoned her, but luckily Jen has two adorable kids who are always ready to hug her. But her relationship isn't as good as she wanted. Jane naturally focused all her energy on her work, but unfortunately due to his weak personality, he was always bullied at his work. And even today, immediately after reaching the company, his boss sent him to inspect the work at the site and forced her to leave with her coworker Martin. Jane did not want to go with Martin because before Jane's marriage she was in relationship with Martin, but now Martin is married and has a child. When Jane arrives at the site, her bad heels are covered in mud, to which the staff began to laugh at her as she was walking like a delicate princess. As she inspected the taps, water began gushing out from the cracks like a fountain, but he still wrote in his inspection report that it was a minor leakage. Martin could not tolerate this weak performance of Jane, and he asked Jane to go back to the office. Along with this, he will also handle the rest of the work alone. After which Jane's ex-husband tells her on the call that as per the law, we can raise both the children one by one, and my new wife has recently given birth to a lovely baby, so I won't be able to pick up my kids from school today. Then as soon as she hung up the phone, Jane was almost about to faint due to anger, but Martin caught her. But the ground at that place was so slippery that both of them fell into the mud together. That night there was bright lightning, and this glow was indicating that a storm was about to come. The bad weather was also an indication that something unusual was about to happen. Timid Jane was so frightened of lightning that she could not sleep until midnight. Then when she got up in the middle of the night to relieve herself, she stood nervously in the bathroom. Jane did not pay any attention to this mess, and she came back and went to sleep on the bed. Then suddenly opening his eyes, he said to himself, "Did I just pee standing up?" She thinks he might have had too much to drink before going to bed, which is why he was hallucinating. But despite this thought, she touched her upper body and luckily everything was fine. But when she touched below her feet, she got completely shocked. He examined her carefully again and realized that she had indeed changed. Jane was scared and she starts screaming, due to which both her children wake up and come to hug their mother. But Jane doesn't let her children come near him, even though she wants to. Instead, what was surprising was that his voice had deepened to the point where it seemed like he was a man. Because of this change, Jane had to lie that she had a sore throat, and she will get better after resting. Jane later discovered that her underwear was of no use because of her enlarged organ. So she searches her entire wardrobe because he had realized that women's underwear was no longer suitable for him. Then luckily she found her ex-husband's underwear at the bottom of some old box, and this brought relief to Jane. But this changed body part always made Jane feel the pain of being a man. Like while riding her bicycle in the morning, she accidentally touches her core, which causes her endless pain. And that is why she does not want to go to work, because he is worried that his secret will be revealed during work. And due to the worry and fear of this not happening, he took leave from home after a long time. Now Jane was completely a man from below, so she felt like flying like a man. But she remained seated because she cannot save herself from this problem alone. She finally turns to her best friend, Gloria. As soon as she walks through the door, she tells Gloria straight away that there's something new grown on her body. And with that, Jane took off her pants right there to show them to Gloria. However, Gloria thinks Jane is joking with her, and what she's showing is a fake toy. Gloria then pulled him by his arms and tried to pin him down. This caused Jane a lot of pain and she almost died. After this incident, Gloria realized that Jane had truly changed. Then both of them go to the terrace, where Gloria carefully examined Jane's new organ and discussed its features. Gloria says enthusiastically that this is a good thing from now on, because now you have the brain of a woman and the sexuality of a man. You can do many things now that you couldn't do before. This is a blessing that only the chosen ones receive. But Jane was even more upset by Gloria's crazy idea, and she started considering herself a demon. Then the next morning she went to the gynecologist whom she knew well. Actually, that doctor was 50 years old and had experience of many things. Then as Jane took off her pants to show him, he just walked out quietly, and he went straight to the water fountain, splashed a glass of water on his face and started saying to himself that I'm not old enough to be stupid. But this is not a dream either, so the doctor returns and reassures Jane not to panic. The doctor plans to refer Jane to other specialists who can really solve this problem. But Jane refused because she did not want anyone to know about it, because it seemed to him that he would be set up as an experiment in a laboratory. And to prevent that from happening, Jane offers to let the doctor operate on her to cut the thing out. But the doctor warned him that this was a huge risk. He said said that this process is more dangerous than giving birth to a child, and there's also the possibility that Jane will bleed to death during surgery. In this confusion, the doctor gives Jane an advice that now you should consider it as your favorite toy and try to live peacefully with it. Because it grew suddenly, there is a possibility that one day it will suddenly disappear too. Jane follows these instructions of the doctor, and she names the grown-up thing Jamie, after her childhood toy. Then coming home, Jane pleases herself, which gave her the pleasure of being a man. Now slowly Jane started feeling some changes in her body, and she always looked at posters of all kinds of girls as she walked down the street, which made Jamie feel happy. And when Gloria comes to his house, his eyes start glancing at Gloria from time to time. Then when both of them sat on the sofa, Jane started talking sensually, and Gloria got scared by Jane's words and ran away from there. However, Gloria liked men, and she also loved spending time with Jane, but that doesn't mean he'll like it either. A few days passed and Jane's holidays were also over. She comes to the company and walks straight into the men's room and starts lightening up like a real man. That same night, while working overtime, Jane met a female security guard in the same building. The guard came to check the security in the men's room. Then as soon as the female security guard saw Jamie, she fainted. Then after waking up, Jane honestly explained to the female security guard and asked her to keep this as secrets. Women are always good at exchanging secrets with each other, and the female security guard also revealed her concerns that she has actually been alone for 30 years. Until now, she has never slept with any man, which she always regrets. Now a spark slowly started to blossom from this conversation, and both of them kept staring at each other. And Jane finally finds success in embracing her new identity by spending the night with the female security guard. After this accident, Jane's self-confidence increased a lot and she started being very happy. Now it was very easy for him to ride the bicycle. She walked easily around the site in high heels and behaved openly when talking to customers. Jane was no longer as timid as before, which thoroughly impressed Martin. Even better thing for Jane is that the ex-husband started liking her again, and when they meet again, Jane, thinking of some thrilling revenge on her ex-husband, spikes his drink with a euphoria drug. Then when Jane's ex-husband got impressed by her, so Jane pulls out her Jamie, who promptly passes out on the bed. And when he wakes up, he felt a vague pain behind him, which was actually given to him by Jane. After which Jane goes to the doctor for a physical examination and also shows him her muscles, due to which the doctor surprisingly discovered that both male and female hormones were increasing in Jane's body at the same time. One day everyone was busy working at the site, and then suddenly a truck hit the tree. At that time the tree was about to hit Martin when Jane came there and saved Martin, and that moment created warmth in both of them. But Jane doesn't want any further involvement with him because Martin is a married man. Although Jane is getting stronger and stronger, her heart is still a little weak. After which, at Christmas, Jane learned that Martin was divorced, and so when Martin asks her out on a date, she goes along with it. It was clear from Jane's talk that she had a crush on Martin, and both of them were divorced, so it was normal for them to drink and talk in a bar. From Martin's loving words, Jane understands that Martin also likes her, but she doesn't know what to reply, because Jane's current situation had indeed become a bit awkward. After which Martin was ready to kiss Jane, but Jane is so scared that she runs away, making the excuse that she has a slight skin allergy. Then when they meet again, Jane says she doesn't want a one-night stand because she does not want any discussion about her children. Jane also said that Martin was attractive, but she can't do anything except kiss Martin. Now troubled by her condition, Jane went to her gynecologist again. She wanted the doctor to recommend a hospital in Bangkok which was well known for gender reassignment procedures, but the doctor told her that if she wanted to become a woman again, it would take several years for the surgery to be done properly, and whether the result will be correct or not is also a matter of concern. Now Jane began to feel desperate, to which the doctor and Gloria tell her that if she really likes Martin, then she should ignore her current identity and must take the initiative in declaring her love to Martin. Whether you are a man or a woman, gender cannot stop your love affair. Hearing this encouragement, Jane bravely approaches Martin, and she was ready to confess the secret of her body to Martin. Jane was showing it to Martin when suddenly there was thunder, and like the weather that night, a strong storm began to blow. Then suddenly, Jane's Jamie disappeared in that storm. Now that Jamie's experiences and feelings have ended, Jane excitedly runs towards Martin. Although Jane was now a woman like before, but she is no longer the same cowardly Jane. Returning to her female body, Jane starts a happy life with Martin. But all this did not last for long, because at one time he had worked hard by spending sweet time with the female security guard. The female security guard carrying the baby of that hard work in her lap, suddenly comes to meet Jane. And today's story ends with this scene. If you liked this story even a little bit, then definitely like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for staying with the story till the end.